This is an international podcast transmission. Is anyone out there? If you're listening, you've reached the No Fixed Agenda podcast.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is No Fixed Agenda presented by Bubs Naturals. I am Jeff Stoner. I am here with Omar Hernandez on my side. We are talking to Hector Rodriguez. Now, if you're a trail runner listening to this, that name will sound very, very familiar. He's been on my other podcast a couple times, actually more times than a couple, probably more than anybody. But he's also very, as I joked with him, he is the mayor of trail running in San Diego.
The
here.
Mayor, man. That's big, those are some big shoulders, bro.
It's big shoulders, big but shoes, if anybody's going to fill it, it's going to be Hector.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, man, I've meeting Hector for the first time. I did not know what to expect, but immediately his heart was shown.
Oh my God. He's got one of the biggest hearts I've ever met.
He's not just a working for a big department at Amazon. He's not just a trail runner. He's also an entrepreneur. He's also a husband. He's also a very proud dad.
Oh God. Yeah.
So it's like all watching and listening to his story about how he's entrepreneur endeavors and how he's still working his day job or his 9 to 5. And yet he gets all the fulfillment from the WOLFPACK and all of his trail running endeavors and all that stuff. But how he incorporates his daughters a lot into.
Oh my God. Like when that part of the conversation, we started talking about the education aspect of what he's doing with his daughters.
Wow.
You know what it was is I actually saw in his social feed just a couple of days ago, he was teaching his daughters how to podcast.
Ooh,
he was teaching them how to interview somebody.
Yeah.
Which as immediately I was like, God damn it. That is one of the coolest things. Like you'll hear that in this conversation, how he is teaching his daughters the back end of a lot of things like accounting and sales and how to earn money and profits and profit margin.
Money, how to manage their money.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And it just goes to show again, how much heart and love he has for what he actually does and his family and the community altogether.
Yes. That was a big connection between he and I for sure.
One of the best things that he said was service is the rent you pay to live on this earth.
Oof, that was so powerful. Dude.
That was deep to me. I thought that was really cool. And, you know, as the last few episodes that we have had or to start the show off, it's been really about it's service is really what it's come down to.
Yep.
And his conversation really like nail in the coffin type of thing. Like it was like spot on everything. Like it was awesome.
We've had some amazing guests, but there's very few that like all of them have moved me in one way or another. But this conversation moved me down to my core.
Yeah. So we're going to get into a little bit of what he does for Amazon, but we're going to really talk about community, the service he has put together based around trail running and how he got into that based on trail running. And then really, we're going to talk family. So this is a really cool episode. As Omar had said, it kind of hits home a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for being on the show. Thanks for listening in. Welcome to the podcast, Hector Rodriguez. The No Fixed Agenda podcast is brought to you by Bubs Naturals. Their mission is simple: live better, longer. Bubs helps fuel people to reach their maximum human potential through supplements sourced from nature's highest quality ingredients, all by giving 10% of profits back to charity. That's right, people, 10% back to charity. Learn more about their NSF for Sport certified collagen peptides and electrolyte drink mix at bubsnaturals.com. Thanks, man.
Usually we icebox people in, man.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because it gets really it gets warm in here, bro. And then so I walk in the first time we were like, fuck, dude. He goes, it's gonna get hot. But you can't have the AC on because it's loud as fuck. And so it picks it up. But,
yes.
Into it?
Yeah, man. We jump right into it.
Casual, man.
I've been recording. I heard you go to the bathroom and that. It's gonna be on the show.
Yeah.
Come on.
Long stream, bro. We're gonna call it long stream.
Omar was asking me our connection.
Yeah.
And there's couple of things you should know.
All right.
One, he's the mayor of trail running here in San Diego County.
The mayor.
The mayor.
He's saying no, that's not the case.
No,
That's not the case.
no, he is the mayor of trail running here in San Diego. And I'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
The other thing is he's also a local celebrity.
Oh, wow.
Because he was on TV with the Amazon commercial for the longest time.
Wow, that's a true statement. That one you'll take credit for. All right, not the mayor for trail running, but you are a celebrity. Got it.
Me too.
Where are you at now? Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Hell, why Vegas?
I learned what we pay in taxes here. I learned a lot of business stuff and some benefits that I get living in Vegas. And so I have Airbnbs and do different things. So I'm here often. And whenever I want to come back, I just will block my houses off and come back and crash.
Hell yeah,
so I like having that kind of flexibility of going between both.
So people in the trail running arena is going to know who you are, but the people that are like the audience that I'm bringing, they're not going to know who you are. Well,
I think I would just say I'm Hector Rodriguez. I'm from San Diego, basically my whole life here. This last little over a year, I've been in Vegas primarily, but still in San Diego quite a bit, as I am right this moment. Yeah, I think I'm probably most known for trail running and doing a lot of hard endurance challenges. But like more what people might not know is I feel like I've done pretty well taking a lot of the skills to do hard things like run 240 miles or
no desire to do.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you decided to do a 250 mile race.
Yeah.
I have no desire to do that. Like zero, but okay.
Tough.
Yeah.
But to do those things is discipline, consistency, working hard, and all of those things can apply beyond the trail running. So I have been very conscientious of that. And so here in the last couple of years have taken those same skills and that work ethic and have done a lot more on the business side and in the investing side and real estate and Airbnb and all of those kind of things where I really do attribute my success in those areas from the trail running and from just having the freaking energy. Like I have so much energy every single day that I think most people, if they saw what I was juggling, would be very impressed. Like I'm proud of what I've been able to juggle and do in this last, and that's all on top of working for Amazon for 7 years or 8 years, something like that.
Wow. So what do you do for Amazon?
So right now for Amazon,
it's a secret. You can't tell you.
No, it's not a secret.
Top secret.
Top secret.
Yeah. So Amazon, the way I try to best explain Amazon is like, it feels like there's probably like 50 businesses inside Amazon.
Absolutely.
So there's like the fulfillment center. We have sort centers. We have delivery stations who are the ones that are delivering your packages. There's Amazon. There's Whole Foods. There's Prime Video. There's AWS, which is like the internet part, and so much more. The space I'm in is on the delivery station side, and that has been my background for many years. Worked at UPS before Amazon. And what I'm doing now is in the delivery stations, damages happen to people's products.
No, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I got 23 years of logistics and supply chain.
Very cool.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
When you say you're talking my language right
Yes.
now, but go ahead.
My role is how do I reduce the damages? How do I reduce customers calling and saying I didn't get my order?
Got it.
Things like that. And Amazon right now, we're really pushing worldwide parity. It's been really cool because I am getting the opportunity to travel a lot and travel internationally.
That's cool.
Launching different things, say we're doing in North America, over in Europe and Japan, and vice versa. Some of the things, like something I saw I was in Liverpool 2 weeks ago, and we're stealing an idea where I'm going to find somewhere here in North America to test it and then see if it works just as well as it working there. It's been really cool.
That's the fun shit.
Yeah, it is. It's right now. It's the most fun because now it's going international. And so it's really cool going to these different places and seeing the different cultures.
Was that 2 weeks ago that I saw you on your Instagram that you were in England? Or was it?
Last week.
I felt like it was last week.
Yeah, maybe it was last week. Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, next thing I see you hanging out with Jay True, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. And I actually am. So I came to San Diego, and then I go back to Vegas tomorrow, and then Saturday night I'll fly back to London, and it'll be another week in London. So
See, this is why I had to steal this guy while he was in town.
Yeah.
He was like, I go, dude, I can't do Thursdays, bro. Like, he goes, this is the only time we're going to be able to get him. I'm like, all right, let's go, bro.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like a traveling animal, dude.
This has been the craziest it's been. Before, it would be like traveling more nationally, like here to Seattle and back, because that's where like the main headquarters was. Now they've spread between, at least in my organization, Seattle, Austin, Nashville, and New York. And so normally you would travel there, but now it's a lot of London. It's probably like my fourth time.
Is your family able to travel with you a little bit when you go over? Because the girls probably want to hang out with you when you're going overseas. They want to see some of that part. Do they have a chance to go to or no?
So my girls' passports expired. And so every time I've been going back, I'm like, we need to get your guys' passports. So I would have to pay their flights. But once we got to London, they could jump in the Ubers, the food, the hotel. Maybe that would be it. But like all of that would be covered. Yeah. My goal is to get them their passports so they can come with me. I have brought them on trips here in the country. Yeah. And that has been really cool. But I'm more excited to have them come with me internationally and see some of that, especially like when I was just in Japan. That was the coolest place.
Oh, I've always wanted to go to Japan.
How many girls you got?
Two girls.
Yeah.
The
married,
cutest,
single,
married.
The cutest girls.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sweet.
That kind of travel schedule must be crazy for you
It is ramped up this year because the organization that I'm in Amazon is really pushing this international and really pushing like this parity. And there's been a focus in the area that I'm in. 3 years ago, I was traveling a ton, and then it subsided when COVID hit, and then it subsided after that. And now it's like ramping back up. It's been a lot lately. I'm hoping that I can get back to a 1 week travel, 1 week completely home, 1 week travel, and 1 week completely home to get a better balance. But it has not been that this year. It's been gnarly.
That's the one thing I don't miss about being in logistics was living out of a suitcase.
How's all the travel? Because you're doing Cocodona here in a month, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how has that affected what you're trying to train for that? To back that up, because we've had this conversation. How are your feet? Are they back to normal, or are you still dealing with some plantar?
I'm still dealing with some plantar.
Oh, dude.
Yes. Are you?
No.
It's gone completely?
It's not 100% gone, but as I'm going to test, like he's seen some of the gnarly stuff the last year or so. I'm actually back to running regular, not as often as I'd probably want, but I can run pain-free. And I can wake up in the morning pain-free. Yeah. It's just when I think it's dependent on if I'm at an event and I've been in my trail shoes for way too long, or if I've been traveling and my feet are like on a plane, right? And a bit of swelling and stuff. That's really the only time that I've ever gotten my feet to have an issue. Right now, I can run easily and not have any problems.
Yeah, I can run. I helped Jackpot Ultra, which is in Vegas, a couple of weeks ago. And I think I did 2 days of a marathon, roughly miles. Mm-hmm. And at the end, I was hurting, but it took 20 plus miles for it to start hurting. Yesterday or the day before, I think I did 18 2 days ago and 14 yesterday, and I was pain free. Yeah. So I think I know the pain is going to come. It's like before it was like at mile like 7, anything after 7 would just hurt. So I'm sure it's going to come, but I just really want to get this one done. And then I can go back to just lower distances or something. But is this the
only long distance you've got set up for the near future at all?
Yeah. This is the one I feel like I need to do. Like, I have to get this one done.
Why is that?
It's just because I failed it twice.
You failed it twice. How do you fail it? First of all, with a non-trail runner.
Yeah.
Right? Let's explain what this race is.
It's a 250-mile race. Starts a little bit north of Phoenix, and you pretty much go through the desert, and you go through Prescott, I believe, Sedona, all the way till Flagstaff.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So it's a gnarly race, and it's been an Achilles heel for me because the terrain is very rubbly, very rugged, and like when your feet hurt and then it's just nonstop, just rocks that are just stabbing your feet. It's just like times 10. So it's been a brutal race for me because of how rubbly and how how tough the terrain is. Not necessarily like the vert and all that or the weather. None of that really impacts me. It's literally just like the rocks on my feet of how painful they are after so many miles. So I've done it 2 years in a row, and I've gotten to a mile, I think 145, 147. And then feet were just too painful to where I called it. So I'm hoping to be able to endure the pain long enough to get to the 250. It's probably one of the big, like 200 or the biggest or right up there 200 milers in the country. So I really want to get that notch on my belt with this one and get the redemption.
So failed it twice. You just call it yourself. There's no cap on it. They don't like sweep.
There's a cutoff, right?
Yeah.
So you have to complete, what is it, 5 days, 6 days for this one?
I think it's 125 hours to do 250 miles. And it's 30 or 40,000 feet of vert. So it's like climbing Mount Everest on top of the miles.
Now, not to mention, he's already done the Triple Crown of 200s too. So there's three other events in the Northern California and Utah areas that he's already done. He completed. That's 200 plus. So this is probably the other 200 that's pretty well known as far as the industry goes.
I think there's 4 main ones, and this is like
the one.
Yeah,
it's one of the top ones for sure. Yeah. It's up there with the other 3.
So you don't want to do the other 3?
I've done the other 3.
Oh, so
yeah.
This is just the one. I understand now.
This is the one.
This is the one that kicked you in your nuts a couple times.
It has kicked me in the nuts. It jacked me up last year. I was hallucinating and everything.
Oh.
It was bad. Yeah. It was really bad.
I get that.
So one of the things that I think, and I bring this back to the trail running aspect of it and what you've accomplished because of trail running, I guess, and what I've seen that you did over COVID and continue to do so is, and Omar, you'll resonate with this really well because Hector's created an unbelievable community. He calls it the WOLFPACK. And I tell you what, I don't know. I honestly, I'd like to hear this story because I don't know if we've ever really had this conversation of this, but he created, through trail running and through some of the stuff he does, he created a WOLFPACK. And all of a sudden, the next thing you know, everybody's starting to follow him on Instagram. He's talking about the WOLFPACK and how everybody can train together and communicate and become a community. And now you see it, people will they'll tag. I see on your posts a lot of times people are tagging WOLFPACK. And so it's been amazing, the community that he's created with that. Yeah,
I agree.
And I reference this because Omar's fitness community is probably one of the best fitness communities I've ever been a part of.
Oh, very cool.
So I love the fact that there's these 2 communities that we could chat about, but I don't think I've ever really asked you where that idea came from as far as bringing everybody together.
So what happened, so I don't know where the name came from. I wish I did.
So you didn't create it yourself?
I don't know. Yeah. I honestly don't want to take credit for it if I didn't, but the way it started was, it was back right when COVID started.
Okay.
And so they shut down, obviously, everything, and everyone was scared. Everyone didn't know. No one had experienced anything like that.
They closed all the trails down. They closed all the beaches down.
Even here in San Diego, they did that.
Everything. There was a couple private trails that I used to sneak in.
Yeah.
But El Capitan, by the way, if this ever happens again, you go to a private trail. They will not shut it down. Go ahead.
Yeah. So San Diego, they shut everything down, including the gyms. And I'm sure other areas in the country had similar things. So that led to just like myself and a small other group going, okay, they shut down the gyms, they shut down the this and that, but hey, we're not going to stop getting after it. We're going to do push-up challenges, and then we're going to tag each other, and we're going to do sit-up challenges. We're going to run miles, and then we're going to tag. During the pandemic, a small group of us would still going, okay, we're still going to work out and we're still going to train and we're going to support each other and we're going to show love to each other. And so it got really fun and it got really silly to where people were like doing 1-arm push-ups and headstands and just getting like super crazy with just fun challenges. But it was super fun. Like it made going through that experience like as good as it could be. It sucked, obviously.
Right?
Considering all the factors that people are bonding and having fun with it and getting to know each other. So then as that went, like in parallel, I was going more and more hardcore into endurance sports to where I think my following maybe started getting a little bigger, which then added more visibility to Wolfpack. As I mentioned, I did a 100-mile treadmill. Then I did the last person standing on a treadmill, and then I did Moab 240. And so as I'm doing these things, other people are doing their hard things, which could have been a triathlon or an Ironman or somebody's first 50K or somebody's first 5K. And it just grew to where everybody was just like showing a lot of love and a lot of like appreciation and a lot of camaraderie and all of those things. And what I really like about it now or still is I do see and hear how a lot of people will make changes in their life for the better, right? So somebody who maybe goes out with a crowd that all they do is hit the brewery every weekend. And when that one person goes, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't think that's that cool. And I think it's cooler to wake up at 4 a.m. to hit the trail by 5 a.m. and run 15 miles. That's cool. And what I've seen so many times is when people make that change, that original group, even though this is such a positive thing and you're in nature and you're running and you're doing something hard and you're sweating and you're getting up early and all of those things, this crowd over here a lot of times doesn't support that person that I've seen personally. And just in general, like a lot of times I see people maybe discredit the trail community and people really working hard and not realizing how hard that is. Yeah. And showing and supporting and showing love and going, great job, keep going. I always hear, I think there's like a meme that goes, you'll never get like as much support as you do from an Instagram runner friend that you've never met. Something like that. I find that to be true because some of the people who have like really lifted me up or really shown so much love or support, I've never even met.
Wow.
And they're doing it so much more than people I've known my whole life. And I know a lot of people who have that same story. So I would say Wolfpack is that community, except we've also been able to meet in person and go crew each other, support each other. And I've said it in other avenues that like, I think because everybody is testing their limits, they're pushing whatever's hard for them, that we all know how hard that is. Mm-hmm. So therefore we like support and we give our best effort to one another to keep going. And we know how hard it is. So let's go. And so it's really cool to just have that community and support. And then to give it back is also really cool. And to do that for others.
So quick plug, Wolfpack has its own Instagram identity or is this,
no,
or is this all
he never got to that point. But honestly though, from the hashtags and everything out, everybody that I've seen tag into it is, like he said, doing something to support somebody else. And there was a moment even a couple of years ago when we were coming out of COVID and people were still high into this thing. Like you couldn't scroll through Hector's Instagram or some other people that were tied into it. You couldn't scroll through their Instagram without seeing 20, 30 people are already also tagging into this thing. And it was amazing to see how that kind of grew as challenges kicked off. And Hector was a huge part of doing that. Like you said, the treadmill thing, I think really jump started a lot of that.
Yeah. It's ironic. It's ironic how hard shit creates, or hardships. I say hardships, but it's also hard shit, right? It's really hard shit creates camaraderie. Yeah, it really does. If you think about it, right? Yeah. Look at, there's so many bad things that happened during COVID.
Yeah.
I could sit there and him and Ha too. I decided to leave a 6-figure logistics career to freaking become a full-time trainer. And then COVID happens. I'm like, what the fuck? Right. What do I do? But hard shit does create community and love and support. Yeah. And I think the reason why I can hear it in your voice when you're talking about Wolfpack, I think any good community, and this is what I'm learning, if it comes from a place of love, is powerful. It doesn't matter what it is. Like it could be trail running. It could be doing hard shit. It could be push-up challenges. It could be fitness. It could be a gym. It could be anything. Yeah. But if it comes from the heart and you genuinely give a shit about people, the community is always going to be there. And I think that's the one thing people have always said about my community is that I've been in, like Jeff just said it, and I've heard that like at least 100 times. I don't know what it is different about the community that you're building, but I just feel like I'm a part of, or I feel like I'm accepted. I don't care. And it's not a comparison. Like I walked into other gyms and it's, oh, that person's lifting more than me. Oh, they're fastening. Oh, they're in a different category.
Yeah.
Nah, that for me, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Here in my gym is you have the person that's coming off the couch and you have the person that's an elite athlete or a pro, and they're working side by side, uplifting and encouraging each other. Right. Yeah. So I think the common denominator of what WOLFPAC is, you might not want to take credit for it. And I think that's what all good leaders do. Right. It's like, I always say, I'm not the one. I can open up a gym all day long and I've said it. I have a post out there that says, yes, I opened the doors. Yes, my heart is here, but I could have opened the doors and nobody could have walked in.
Right.
But the fact that people walk in, you guys are the community. Otherwise, I'd be standing in an empty gym with a bunch of equipment, right?
Yep.
I think whether you want to take credit for it or not, my good sir, you come up with love, and that's the community that you created. That's the credit that you need to give yourself.
All right, I'll take that.
You know what I mean? It's the truth, right?
Yeah,
Think about it.
I recognize the beauty in it for sure.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Dude, nobody would, right?
Yeah.
The right wise person wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be quite interesting. I want to just take Justin's triathlon deal. You had a chance to go out and bike a little bit.
Yep.
And I definitely know that there were some moments along that route, whether it was with you and him or just him by himself, where people were showing up because they were following you guys, but B, it was because of the WOLFPAC mentality. And so what was some of I guess I'd like to hear your kind of feedback on that as you're getting a chance to meet somebody. Like how do you feel when you get a chance to meet some of these people that are part of this community that
you've never met?
That's
pretty cool.
But you've got to be able to feel a little bit of their support for you guys and what they are going through and how much that you've changed their life in some degree, how much you want to take credit for that or not. There's got to be some of that there with it, right?
Yeah. And all of that brings me kind of two things. One is the saying, like, you inspire people you don't even know exist.
Yeah.
And I truly learned that on that trip or on that challenge with Justin. We did have people come out, and there are videos where there was this guy, Brandon, who was with us, who was filming, and people were getting emotional, crying literally with just what it meant to them, which I was like blown away, because I just feel like we're just like, we are loving, but we're also like silly and
of course
just knuckleheads.
Yeah.
We do dumb shit by some of the challenges we do.
Jeff and I got a thing called Stupid Shit of the Week, so we get it.
Okay, yeah. Me and Justin have lots of stupid ideas for sure.
Yeah.
And so, it's hilarious, but I think people do see there's like a deeper love in the WOLFPAC. And I'm not going to say who gave it or how it came to me, that just somebody had sent a message to somebody I know just saying, and showed a picture of a gun. And this is the one that's most memorable to me, just saying like how they felt like they wanted to end it.
Wow.
And that they one day like saw us and saw what we were doing and saw the camaraderie and saw like the endurance challenges we were putting ourselves in, that they're like, screw this, I'm going to start getting after it. And they sent a really nice message just saying how meaningful it was just being a part of it and seeing it. And I'm just blown away that it's been, even if all of it was for that one person,
right,
then all of it's worth it. Like if it,
that one life you saved,
that is
just by doing something crazy. Powerful.
Yeah, it was gnarly. And it was I think me and Justin both saw that, and we both were very like,
we're doing the right thing.
We're doing the right thing, and just blown away of the impact it's had to others. Imagine how many other stories, maybe not as deep as that one, but that people haven't shared. So I'm mindful of that for sure.
So I love that. You give me freaking goosebumps, bro, because you did. The reality is I might even start crying on this one, dude. I ask myself this question a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And so I've literally blown through my retirement opening up a gym.
Okay.
I'm 46 years old. I decided to become a fitness trainer at 38. And my wife was like, you're fucking crazy. Fuck out of here. Don't do this shit. What are you doing? She's like, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. And my wife knows me long enough now to go, well, if he says he's going to do it, he's going to freaking do it. Right.
Yeah.
And so she stood back and I'm like, and the whole time have you ever had this thought when you're doing like a long race, like, dude, this is like, why am I doing this?
Of course.
Like,
Every single race.
Mile 249. Why did I do this?
Yeah, 100%.
So I've had that thought several times
Yeah.
in my career. And people think Omar just shows up to be positive. And Omar's this, Omar's this loving. He's going to give the shirt off his back. And, and I would. But I always ask myself, am I doing the right thing? And for some reason, God, the universe, whatever the heck you believe in, will present a life in front of me or a situation or a circumstances where somebody's just saying, without you and your community, I would not be where I'm at today, or I would have given up, or I would have quit.
Right.
And so that's like a reaffirming thing that you are you're on the right path to be of service. And, and it's almost like a guiding light when you hear those kind of stories and to think about all these other things. It's a guiding light to know that you got somebody that you actually impacted their life to the positive, whether they wanted to end their life, whether they wanted to give up on their life entirely, whether they wanted to walk away from their marriage, whatever the case may be. Right. And it's just so powerful to know that you get like confirmation back from whatever it is that person is. They're going, okay, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful, man.
Yeah. It makes me think of just, I think it's a Muhammad Ali quote that says, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth.
Oh, I love it.
I love that.
Yeah. And that has always stuck with me. And the others, no one ever went poor by giving. So I'm very mindful, and I've done a lot of things to give back. And I think people, and people, like going back to Wolfpack, I have been approached to try to monetize that. And different ideas got pitched to me to try to expand it, but from a financial perspective. And I've always turned it down. And I've had people, and I've even had times where I've given away things completely for free. I had shirts and hoodies, and I was like, as long as like you're just a cool person and you really want it, I'm gonna even pay your shipping to send it to you. Right. And I did that one of the last times, and people are surprised by that. But I think people miss that just doing things like that, it comes back tenfold in other ways. And I believe that truly.
It's the biggest form it's the best paycheck in the world, dude.
It is.
Best paycheck in the world.
And it comes
bro.
back.
Yeah.
It so does.
Yeah, it does.
I wish more people realize that maybe it doesn't come back from this community or the person I gave the hoodie, but it comes back in other ways. I truly believe that.
I struggle with this one because I got to pay rent, right? I got to pay rent, right? And so it's not just rent, right? And I've always had that mentality, right? And I agree with it to an extent.
Yeah.
I think being of services can be done as well as being able to pay your bills.
Of course.
Right? And so it's a fine balance for me.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I have to give, in order for me to give, I have to be able to receive. And that goes for anything in my life, right? If I'm giving so much of myself to people and I'm never receiving myself, then I got nothing to give, right?
Yep.
And so I think about that from a financial perspective, but it's a touchy subject for me because I struggle with imposter syndrome, just like anybody else, right? There's imposter syndromes. I'm always wanting to give the shirt off my back, and I want to keep my doors open. But if I don't make a profit at some point, then my doors will close. And the person that really needs to walk through my door will never be able to get given the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Right? I think if you have an opportunity like that, you could still make a profit, but not sell your soul.
Yeah. I've been told that too.
Yeah.
I've had all of these different conversations, and I've had people like also explain to me, like, if I grew it and got more eyeballs on it and the love and the this and the that it could just spread like the message or the community even further if we were able to reinvest it and keep it going. But I just have not. It just doesn't call me.
You're busy.
Yeah, and this is you got a few things going. Yeah. You are a husband. You are a dad. You have several businesses opening up, right? And you decided to run a 250-mile race that is literally impossible to do. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's probably a big part of it. I got to retire and then revisit it.
Yeah. Talk to us about the transition you made. So for our audience, a lot of the times we just want to talk about like people's journey in life, right? And just, we love hearing stories of entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
Right.
me too.
And so, yeah, it's awesome because you think about somebody's had an idea and they actually put into play, like Jeff starting ARS. And I've heard his stories of all the failures he's had and how he's come back. And ERS is like, hell, we were in freaking Dallas, man. And somebody's, oh yeah, dude, I freaking recognize. That's so cool, dude. Somebody in Dallas knew I've done your races before.
That was a trip. Somebody saw my logo and they're like, dude, I did your race.
It was like a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
That was really cool from the moment you understand that coming back to the community aspect, that you're actually doing something to make somebody happy.
Yeah.
And it was in Texas for all those places. And he raced an event in Colorado. And it was like this big connection for me. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm actually doing something
positive
to better the community.
Right.
And so great example.
That's exactly it. And think about that being like the WOLFPAC, right? I think about that from OMOD, right? I didn't come up with that name. Somebody gave it to me, right? And it was like, no, it's OMOD. And I even went, when I decided to open my gym, I was like, I'm going to rename it. I don't want it to be OMOD. I didn't want it to be me.
Yeah.
I wanted it to become something else. And I wanted it to become its own identity. I felt as an entrepreneur, I was creating this other life entity. So I didn't want to be a part of that. And then I put it out to my people in my community. They're like, fuck that. No. It has to be OMOD. There's no way. It has to be. And I was like, good Lord, okay, then it's going to be OMOD. But I didn't realize in my community, I thought OMOD was just me. But the people that gave me the name, it wasn't me. It was the effort and the love that I put out. Mm-hmm. And so that was the entity. Mm-hmm. Like WOLFPAC is the entity. It's not you. Yeah. It's not anybody. It's WOLFPAC. Like there's nothing else to it. And so you're doing the right thing by doing that and then creating these things, right? With WOLFPAC. I love to see the growth, the development of something like that.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you're into right now from an entrepreneur perspective? And then how'd you get into it and why?
I would say back in 2000, a long time ago, I came across the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book by Robert Kiyosaki.
I love that book, by the way.
Yeah. It was very, like maybe the Goggins and that book, were like my two most impactful books, to where if all I got out of that was like cash flow, real estate, mindset, like he taught me very young. So I bought houses probably like in 04, 06, something like that. Fast forwarding a little bit, I would say 2015, I started dabbling into real estate here in San Diego. 2019-ish is when I started getting really hardcore in endurance sports and the trail running and things like that. Doing the hard challenges started giving me a lot of confidence in myself to go, I can do things 99% of people can't do when I am disciplined, when I'm consistent, when I'm training, when I'm pushing myself.
They can't do, or they don't think they can.
Yeah.
That's what
or like they put the effort to
100%,
do that, what I was willing to do. Yeah. And so taking that here in the last couple years, that confidence going, just feeling, and I could be completely wrong, but just feeling like I have the energy and the work ethic that I can just do things most people can't do. Right. And so so then I was like, okay, I'm going to take these skills learned on the trails and I'm really going to go, and I'm extreme. So I've learned I love extreme. No.
I would have never said that from you, just sitting here.
And so like, I'm so not scared to fail. And I'm just, I don't know. I think the trail running and those hard challenges really changed the way I'm wired to where I really need like to go extreme. And I really have fun on the extreme end of things. And that's like my fun now. So I just went hardcore. So last year I bought 4 houses, which is hardcore for me. And so basically in real estate, in the last, let's say 2 years, I have multiple Airbnbs. I've bought houses in 3 or 4 states. I flipped houses. I have traditional rentals, and just in the real estate game of negotiating, finding deals, rehabbing them, putting renters in there, Airbnb, selling them, looking for the next deal, like all of that. And I'm having like the most fun doing that stuff. Yeah.
What I think is cool, and I'd love to hear your thought is how, and you've talked about this before, like the impact to your daughters and how they see you going through some of this stuff. Hey, my dad does trail run, does long trail runs, works for Amazon. Now he has real estate. Do they understand some of that stuff? And what do you think? Do you see the impact that you're having on, like your work ethic is having on them right now?
What I've learned in these past couple of years, and it actually pissed me off.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is a good place.
So I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I sold a condo in Otay Ranch.
Okay.
I had a very nice profit, and I learned how much California taxes took from me.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so that was one part that I got a lesson. The other part was just understanding personal credit, debt to income, business credit, what shows on reports, what doesn't, the importance of both. And then another part would be just tax deduction, bookkeeping, and all of these things. So where I'm getting at is, like, in the last 2 years, by going the entrepreneurial route, I realized that so much I didn't learn, like in high school or in college or afterward, this whole other world of understanding business, personal credit, understanding the importance of the tax game, taking deductions, being very having a bookkeeper partner with, because you want to dot your I's and cross your T's.
And you don't want to end up in prison.
Yeah. You want to take advantage of what you legally can and have the documentation to support whatever you're doing and all of that stuff. Now that I know this stuff and I wasn't taught it, I'm like, how were we not taught? These are the things that are so important.
Not just business, life.
In life too.
Bro, life, man.
Yeah. So now that I'm learning this stuff, I call it WOLFPACK Academy. So with my girls, I've taught them bookkeeping, and so they're doing bookkeeping for one of my businesses.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I have that. So I also have them, like, this is all just for fun. So I had them create eBay store.
Nice.
We were playing with Chat GPT and creating like prompts and stuff for like how we want to describe the store. And so I'll let them go to what is the store, like a TJ Maxx or Marshall's, those kind of stores, and I just I just let them go pick what you think will sell. So we'll go in there and they're like, oh, this is $15. I think it's $80. Okay, what's your market research? And then they'll show me on the phone, Dad, I seen this on YouTube and this and that. And so I say, okay, if you think it'll do that, let's buy it and let's go home and then we'll sell it on eBay. And then whatever profits you get to keep. It's fun. And then they can deal with the customers. And then when we sell something, they can go to the store, pack it, send it. And so it's been so fun doing that, because I definitely didn't do it. And I think that's like real life skills. Like, how do you find a deal? How do you turn $1 into $2? Yeah.
But
and then
that's powerful, dude, because we have a large community of teachers in our gym. We have at least 10 that I can think of off the top of my head. And one of the things that I bitch about most is what they taught me in school, I didn't really use.
Yeah.
Now I don't use it today.
Yeah.
Other than multiplication and subtraction. And
the most general basic shit that you can.
Basic shit that I never really would use.
Like they teach you how to improve your credit score.
Yeah. Or you know,
how to optimize that.
Not just your credit score, but just anything that's useful. And so I think kids nowadays have a general idea who they want to be and what they think they want to do. Yeah. But yet we're forcing calculus down their throat. And unless they're going to be some kind of scientist or they don't need to do all that shit, dude. Like I got a nephew who started, like I sit with him now after I started my business, and I've sat with him countless hours to go. He goes, hey, Theo, I want to be a general contractor. And I'm like, all right, then do that. You want to work for a company? He goes, no, I want to work for myself because I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, so you sit down with him and you're like, okay, well, do you have a bookkeeper? Do you know how to do this? Do you know how to
have you set up your LLC?
Do you set up your LLC? I had somebody else set up my LLC. No. Do you know how to set up your LLC? Yeah. Do you know why? Do you want to be an S corp? All these things, right?
That is another one. They should teach us what's in between an S corp
and an LLC. Like 100%.
That always, as business owners, you learn more and more about that stuff. It's like, why the fuck did I not tell you that? Yeah. So we're going back to improving credit score and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Story when I was in high school. Here is what one of my teachers told us.
Yeah.
As a class. All right, guys. If you want to get ahead in life, don't open credit cards. I have not had a credit card in years.
And you're a successful teacher.
And looking back at it, I'm like, you're a fucking dick. And it's
one to that.
Yeah. There was no explanation of it whatsoever. He just comes into class one day and you could tell he was obviously pissed off about the credit card company or whatever. And he's like, you know what? If you want to get ahead in life, don't get a credit card. Just use cash. And at that time, there was no debit cards. Just use cash and checks.
Yeah. It's Dave Ramsey mentality.
And I was like, looking back at it, I'm like, that's the shit you're telling people, or we're telling people at that time. It was back in 1994, whatever. But I'm like, fuck, if you would have just explained even the smallest explanation of, hey, this is what you should be realizing about credit cards, instead of, yeah, don't do it, because people just don't get it. They don't. That's the other thing. They don't understand how to utilize a credit card properly to be like, hey, yeah, we're just going to rack that shit up. And I was on top of that point is last night, we were sitting there watching the news. Des and I are hanging out, eating dinner, and they're talking about how the new thing now is you pay the monthly payment options, right? If you go online right now and buy anything online, Affirm.
Yeah.
If you go Affirm, you can 3 payments of X, Y, and Z. And they're just pushing that shit down people's throats now.
Yeah.
Versus, and they don't really know the difference.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the type of shit that I wish universities and high schools and even middle schools would start teaching people.
Yeah, the pros and cons of all of it.
Yeah.
I think I hate demonizing things.
Yeah.
Our education system needs some work.
It
right?
does.
It does.
I think we agree on that.
Yeah.
But I think there's some amazing teachers out there.
Of course.
No, I definitely do not want to take anything away from teachers at all. Period.
And I hate demonizing, like, even the Dave Ramsey, right? And so having a positive cash flow with a good credit score is actually a winning situation, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to be able to have the knowledge of both, in my opinion. Like, if I did Dave Ramsey's thing. That's the only reason why I was able to get into fitness.
Yeah.
Because I was mismanaging my credit, right? Because I didn't know any better.
Right.
And I thought credit was evil. And so I did Dave Ramsey's program, and I was like, credit cards are evil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They definitely can be. So we can make that very clear. They can be brutal.
But now I have a credit line for my business that actually pays me money, and it actually benefits, and it makes me look good as a company now, because now I have a positive cash flow and a good credit line that I can manage my business in. But I didn't understand that. But if it wasn't for Dave Ramsey, I would have never been here.
Yeah.
Right. And so understanding that we have all these tools available to us, but then just don't sit there and go, this is the only one way. Right.
So here's Dave Ramsey. Learn this.
Then learn that.
Robert Kiyosaki.
100%.
Leverage all the things you can.
100%. Right.
And then you make the educated decision of where your risk lies.
What works best for you and your business. And so that is the most powerful position I think anybody can be in, if you really think about it. And so, like, knowledge is power, but action with knowledge, extremely powerful, right?
So just to circle back to your girls again, so they're obviously enjoying this a little bit.
They love it.
They love. Oh, dude,
so
you are
they're making money too.
So let me ask you this before you get into that. Did your parents teach you that?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. What did your parents teach you?
My parents were extremely, like, my mom was extremely hardworking, and so she worked at a bank. So she went hardcore to this day with the 9 to 5 or the 9 to 7 p.m. work ethic. I never see her calling sick. I saw that. And I've been the same way. I don't ever call in sick. I'm always on time. I have the Amazon, but I just feel like each generation got to up it a notch. Like, my grandparents came from Cuba to America, lived in the ghetto in New Orleans. That's where I was born. Awful house, but my mom took it to the next level, got us to San Diego, got a much better neighborhood, made sure we were fed. And now it's okay. Now it's my turn to take it to the next level. I want my girls to learn these things that we all learned late. I want them to understand Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki. I want them to taxes, bookkeeping, accounting. And so even though they're very young, like, I'm going to tell them those things. And then when they get older, if they want to go a different route, they want to go corporate route, or they want to go entrepreneur or sales or
both,
art, creative, whatever, cool. But you are at least going to know these things that I feel are important. And then hopefully you grasp the concepts very young. And I got them both credit cards already. So I'm hoping.
How old are they, by the way?
12 and 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you not know, listeners, that you can get a credit card for your kids?
I got Chase.
Credit card companies will give a credit card.
Obviously I manage it, but I'm having them understand it and make sure they pay it off each month. So it's just those, like, habits that I want to encourage that, or ensure that they're getting, so they have that mindset as they get older. I like them thinking, like, how can I make $1, $2? How can I pay less than in taxes legally and completely legitimate. And yeah, they'll learn those things from me as I'll keep learning myself.
Well, legacy, man. That's legacy,
that's
my
cool.
good friend.
Yeah. I'm always just proud of my effort. I can always say that. Maybe I'm not doing the best on some things, but I know I'm always trying for them.
Yeah, but that's fair.
Well,
Yeah.
but I like the fact that your girls actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think because that's part of the issue now is that at least the millennials and Gen Y, Gen Z.
Don't even ask me that.
Whatever the fuck generation we are in now.
Whatever
Yeah.
generation
Whatever generation we're in now,
Yeah.
all they want to do is they look at online influencing, YouTube, and personality, right? And there's not really much behind it. So it's really cool that you have instilled some of this into your kids and and they are actually enjoy doing some of that stuff and going into TJ Maxx and finding products.
I got them flipping shitter. Yeah. But even if they became YouTube influencers, right? Let's just say they did, and that was their passion, and they're going to start some channel on something cool. But at least on the back end, you'll know like how do you monetize that? How do you do you have a business account or a personal account? Like what are the benefits of doing it each way and the bookkeeping and having your expenses and your profit and are you making money, losing money and all that stuff. So
that is awesome. That is my parents were all ghetto and hood and dude, I was shown how to put a needle in my arm. That's what I was shown. It's cool to have conversations with people that are changing the generations of their family moving forward, right? Yeah. It's powerful, man. If you think about it, it's not just you take it as I'm just being a good dad, I'm being a good husband. Like for me, when I think about this stuff and I talk to my kids about this, because I thought I was a good dad and I did my best. Yeah. Right. And with what I had and the information and the knowledge that I had at that time.
Exactly.
But if it wasn't for me wanting to open up get into fitness, I would have never learned this stuff. Right. And so I kicked myself in the ass that I didn't learn it sooner.
Yeah, me too.
Like the one thing that I got interviewed on a friend of mine's, Bliss's YouTube channel. And she said, she asked me, what would a 2016 Omar tell 20, whatever, like the 20 year, the 06 Omar. Yeah. And the number one thing that I said was what took me so long. Yeah. And so it's like, that's the one thing that for you listeners, like if you are scared of something, if you can think about anything that you really want to do for the rest of your life, what would that be? And just go fucking do it. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you didn't think you were going to have a successful trailing company. No. You didn't think you were going to get into real estate and do all these things.
No, not to this level.
Not to the level that you are, right? And hell, I thought my gym was going to be closed in the first year. And everybody around me was like, no, dude, you're going to need a bigger building. And everybody's walking around the gym going, I told you, you need a bigger building. You need a bigger building. Yeah, very cool. But it's just, for me, it's so powerful to say trail running did that for you.
Yeah, I would credit a lot of it to it. For sure.
And then the other part is your upbringing and who you are. You saw your parents struggling. You saw your mom working her ass off. And so there's been, and you're an all or nothing kind of guy.
100%. Yes.
And so
massively.
But entrepreneur is so amazing from that perspective, in my opinion. But on the flip side of it, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, right? What do we say to those people, right? And so there's a place for them, right? And the general concept's the same, in my opinion, right? You still got to fucking work your ass off. But I think we have the most information available at our fingertips. Like when I was a kid and I wanted to learn something and I had all these learning disabilities that I couldn't even freaking get past page 1 of a book, I was like, fuck, I'm fucked, because there was no Google. There was no Chat GPT. But now we have all this information readily available, and people think it's a reason to not work hard.
I could agree with that a little bit.
Right. And it's the opposite. You have all this information really at your fingertips. How hard can you work to apply it?
Yeah, right? Fully agree.
Yeah. What do you do now that you got into the real estate, Airbnb? Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself pulling out of Amazon?
I actually got asked this in Liverpool this last week. Yeah, it's funny that you asked me.
What was the answer? We want to know.
So what makes it challenging is the Amazon is a very nice check that banks like when I want to go get home loans. And so it's consistent. And I would say right now I'm enjoying Amazon going back to my girls for the first time here, I don't know, about a month ago, they actually came with me on a work trip. They got to see me in action, and they were doing homeschool stuff while I was working, and we got to talk and see some stuff. I would say right now I have the energy for it, and I'm enjoying it because I'm doing a lot of international stuff, which I really love. So I would say as of now, I have the energy to keep going with growing the real estate while doing the Amazon. Do I think at some point I will leave Amazon and go full-time real estate? 100%. I just think maybe I'll give it a little bit more time. Like maybe once I start really feeling like I don't have enough energy to do both, I will then probably just go real estate.
Time-wise, how does that feel for you? One of my biggest things that I struggle with right now is like balancing time.
Yeah.
Because I have a grandson now.
Yeah.
I started young. I'm 46-year-old grandpa.
Yeah.
Right. And so I now think of every time my son tells me, hey, we want to come up and I'm not available.
Yeah.
I think about those things. You have those kind of thoughts?
Yeah, because I'm very extreme. And so the way I'm really trying to accomplish what I want and be there for my girls is I'm just trying to do a week if I have to travel somewhere, and then a week when I'm home, I'm like fully engaged doing projects, taking them to go do fun things, going training with them, taking them to like I do father-daughter dates all the time with them.
That's cool.
And like we go to magic shows, and like I love seeing their minds get blown. So I guess my best answer is I do know that I have to be away to travel to do some of these things. Like I have properties in other states that sometimes causes me to go to those places. But when I'm with them, I try to be fully engaged with them more than ever and give them like all of my time. I'm hoping that works. And if at some point I start seeing that it's not, then I would definitely back off and figure something else out.
Yeah, moments like that are so priceless, man. I just think about not being there for my grandson's first steps.
Yeah. For me, it's just I genuinely have so much fun hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Like I want to hang out with them. They're really fun, and they're like just so sweet and energetic. And I don't know, I like genuinely like probably have more fun with them than anybody.
Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be us, bro.
You're not going to beat the Rodriguez.
Yeah.
They're so fun. They're way witty.
Yeah.
Witty and funny.
We got to get them on the podcast, dude.
They're really cool.
Hector, we appreciate you penciling just a little bit of sliver of time while you're in town. I'm glad I saw that you were in town. I'm glad I reached out to you to see if you could come up here and do this really quick, because every conversation that you and I have always had, I've always taken something away from it, and I really enjoyed getting a chance to hang out with you when I can. So totally appreciate you coming out and doing this. And
I don't regret penciling you in either, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate that,
guys,
dude.
thanks for working with me.
You have some guts.
You got to make time for fucking great people, man.
Dude, this is the fact, man. This is the fact. This is an amazing person.
Yeah.
Where can people find you at?
Just Instagram, HRod619 is probably the best way.
Okay.
And if you really want to know what's going on with him, check him out in a month when he's struggling on the struggle bus in Cocodona 250.
Yeah. We'll call on the WOLFPAC and the O-Mode community and the ERS community to freaking cheer you on, bro.
I'm going to need it, man. Send the prayers, send the love.
Yeah, dude. What's the date of that race, by the way?
I think it's May 6th to the 9th, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it's the beginning of May. I know that.
Yeah.
It's usually right on my birthday.
Yeah, we'll send some prayers your way and love and encouragement.
Yes, I need it.
Yeah, bro. We're gonna be.
I got to get past that 147 mile mark.
Yeah, I'm speaking it into existence. It's going to happen.
Yes.
Let's go. Thank you for coming in, man. That was awesome.
All right. Thanks for inviting me.
This has been an international podcast transmission of No Fixed Agenda presented by Bubs Naturals. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcast episodes. NFA, over and out.